Lately, it feels like there's a lot of people moving to Omaha, not only from the small towns in Nebraska, but also from across the whole nation. There is a real draw to Omaha because of its size and its affordability. And today we're going to go through the top 10 main reasons why people are moving to Omaha. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I am a local realtor. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for stopping by the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to subscribe so you're always the first to know what's going on in Omaha. First and foremost, we have to talk about family. So there is a big draw for people to come back to Omaha once they want to have kids. This is the theme that I see over and over again. Maybe they were raised here, but they've been gone for 5, 10, maybe even 15 years, and maybe had their first kid in a different state, maybe along the coast. And then they decided, you know what, actually, I do want more help with my kids. I'm going to start having more kids. And so they moved back to Omaha to have their kids. And so there is very much so a familial feel to Omaha. A lot of people have some sort of connection here. Maybe it's not even their parents, but it might be an aunt, uncle, or grandparents, or just some sort of built-in support system. It's pretty normal for people to spend a decent amount of time with their families in the Omaha metro. And so that is a huge draw for people moving back to Omaha. The second reason why a lot of people move to Omaha is because of the very strong economy. Omaha has a lower unemployment rate than the nation as a whole. And so there are really good opportunities here in Omaha. And something that I've noticed is that the salary for a person in Omaha isn't that much lower than what you would find in a large city like Chicago or Denver for a similar job, even though the cost of living is much higher in those states. Particularly around homeownership, it's pretty affordable to live here, and there are a lot of different jobs. There's a lot of blue collar opportunities, but then also there is a growing large number of white collar opportunities as well, with things like the very strong insurance industry that we have in Omaha, as well as a lot of different medical health systems that service not just Omaha, but really the whole state of Nebraska. The third reason why a lot of people move to Omaha is because of the affordability. That is something that is maybe a little bit controversial because people that live here wouldn't necessarily say that they feel like Omaha is overwhelmingly affordable, but then people who are moving here will say that Omaha is very affordable. So it's really a relative term. Overall, it is more affordable here. On average, it's around 8% lower than in other places in the United States. But people that actually live here will say that they feel like how home prices have really gone up a lot, and they definitely have. And so that has made the barrier to entry for homeownership quite a bit higher. So in Omaha, the average cost for a house is $330,000, and nationwide, the average cost for a house is $512,000. So obviously, we are much more affordable here in Omaha compared to other places, but it's not necessarily felt amongst the people that already live in Omaha. With that being said, it is a big draw for people moving to Omaha is that they feel like they can afford a lot of house. I've helped a few different folks who are doctors who were considering moving to a few different places in the US. They felt like they could get like a much more sizable home, and more so that would support the lifestyle that they wanted here in Omaha than what they would be able to get in a city like Denver or LA. The fifth reason people move to Omaha is because of Offutt Air Force Base and PCSing into Offutt. Offutt brings thousands of new military personnel into the Omaha metro area every year. That is a big reason why a lot of people will move in and out of the Omaha metro. A lot of these military families tend to be drawn to the Bellevue, Papillion area. A place in Sarpy County, just because it's way closer to base. A lot of times people will choose Bellevue just so they have that really short commute time into work every day. The sixth reason why a lot of people are moving to the Omaha Metro is because of the quality of life overall. We have great affordability and people feel like they can get more bang for their buck in the Omaha Metro, but there's also just a lot going on here that people aren't necessarily aware of until they get here and are pleasantly surprised. We have a lot of great free entertainment options for kids, and our public library system is great. It has a lot of different story times and activities to do with kids, but then you can also use the Discovery Pass, which will get you into a lot of the different nonprofits in Omaha for free, like the Omaha Children's Museum or Fontanelle Forest or the zoo. So you just have access to a lot of different things that is free, makes it accessible to all, and it's an amazing thing, especially in those winter months when you maybe start getting cabin fever, to be able to go go somewhere else and take your kids somewhere else and just break up the monotony of the winter days. People will describe Omaha as like a big small town. It definitely feels that way. And if you move to Omaha, you typically will find yourself drawn to certain pockets. So like if you're living in Gretna, then you'll usually use the Target, the Hy-Vee, everything that's in Gretna, and same with Papillion, Bellevue, Elkhorn. So it really becomes like a small town, even though you're living in a metropolis that has over 1 million people. Another reason why people love moving to Omaha is because of the neighborhood variety. You can really find any style of home that you are looking for in the Omaha metro. It's one of the great things about living in Omaha. There are endless options. You have some good walkability in downtown, in Dundee, in Midtown, but then you have every type of suburb you can imagine. The first beginning suburbs, like in West Side, that were being built in the 50s, 60s, and then you can get new construction in every suburb in between. And so really there's every option that you could want in Omaha. Now let's talk about some of the cons and downsides to living in Omaha and why people maybe will be moving out of Omaha. The winters are obviously brutal. There's always an exodus every winter where a lot of folks will try to snowbird. So they might live in Omaha during the warmer months, but then go to Florida or Arizona during the cold months. And it's because the winters are truly pretty hard to handle. It really leads to a lot of cabin fever and feeling like you're trapped inside because it's so cold. And it's not necessarily even just the temperatures, it's that it's almost always really windy with really cold temperatures and makes it pretty unbearable. Some locals are feeling like Omaha is not as affordable as it has been in the past. And so that is something that has driven some people out where they feel like it's just not necessarily the affordable mid-sized city that they felt like it once was. And I'll also hear a similar complaint that sometimes people feel like it's just starting to become too big. Like they really liked Omaha when it was even more so a small town feel and are wanting to maybe make a move to some of the small towns surrounding Omaha just to maintain that really small town lifestyle. There are not a ton of direct flights from Omaha to other destinations in the US, and it is definitely frustrating. You oftentimes have to connect in Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, Houston to really get anywhere. There's more options than just that, but we're hopeful that once the airport expansion project, which is supposed to wrap up in 2027, that there will be more direct flight options, that airlines will continue to add more direct flights because it's definitely difficult to get from Omaha to other places, especially if you're going somewhere that's a little bit more unique. Overall, there's a lot of exciting things happening in Omaha, and I think the future is really bright for the city. There's the streetcar project, which has been a little bit controversial, but it's happening. It's being built along Harney Street, and it's going to connect Midtown to downtown, which is just a cool public transportation next step for the city. We also have a new skyscraper being built by Mutual of Omaha downtown. It's right at the top of the Riverfront Park, which is the amazing public park that has been completely redone, and it's going to change the landscape for Omaha. And then, of course, the suburbs continue to really blossom and thrive and continue to grow, and we're excited for the airport expansion that's happening and that we'll have some direct international flights. So overall, there's just a lot of great things happening in Omaha. If you have any questions about any of these things, or if you're curious about what neighborhood might be right for you, feel free to reach out anytime. My website is www.heymorganputnam.com, and my phone number is 402-720-9886.